Mike Pachelli here, coming to you from my studio in the beautiful south of France. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be talking about the Beatles recording of Dig a Pony that they did on January 30th, 1969. The song was written in December of 68 entirely by John Lennon, and it has ambiguous lyrics which, mean whatever you want them to mean. But it's a known fact that pony is a slang for heroin, and John and Yoko were both addicted to heroin when the song was being written. About the song, John has said, "I was just having fun with words. It was literally a nonsense song. You just take words and you stick them together, and you see if they have any meaning. Some of them do and some of them don't. I'm singing about me and my life, and if it's relevant for other people's lives, that's all right." Dig a Pony is quite complex. It has a 6/8 feel, but if you were to write it in 6/8, the B minor in the verse would be in 3/4 time. So I think it's easier to read and write in 3/4 time, so that's how I did it. John first played Dig a Pony for George and Ringo on the first day of rehearsals for the Get Back, Let It Be project on January 2nd, 69. But when Paul showed up, they moved on to other songs. And John didn't bring back Dig a Pony until January 7th, and that would be the first time that Paul actually heard the song. But on January 10th, George quits the band. The band keeps rehearsing like on January 13th and messing around with the song, but to no avail. George was coaxed back into the band, and they moved to the Apple headquarters at 3 Savile Row in London on January 21st, and Dig a Pony got all the attention that day. And that's where they worked on the riff that begins and ends the song, and the Beatles had to work quite extensively to get that riff correctly. They tried to record it that day with Glyn Johns producing, but to no avail. On January 22nd, they worked extensively on Dig a Pony. They ran through it 24 different times. And John worked with Ringo to get him to play exactly what he wanted on every verse. There's a recording from that day on the Anthology 3 album, and you could hear that George had his solo quite pre-planned. They ran through it again on January 23rd and January 26th, and on January 28th, they played the song 12 times. On January 29th, they decided to do a rooftop concert. And then, of course, on January 30th, they did that 42-minute rooftop concert, and they played and recorded Dig a Pony one time. February 9th, Glyn Johns and Alan Parsons tried to mix the song, but to no avail. Phil Spector was handed the project, and on March 23rd, he mixed the song, and he cut out the All I Want part that they sing at the beginning and the end of the song, and that's how I'll teach it. It was first released on the Beatles' Let It Be album in the United States on May 18th, 1970. So I'd say that's the backstory. Let's get started. John Lennon is playing his Epiphone Casino through a Silverface twin reverb. I've got my Epi going through a 1967 Fender Deluxe reverb. Tone roll back a little bit to get a mellow sound. First and foremost, you have to remember that Dig a Pony, in order to get the feel right, is played in swing eighths. So it's never just straight eighths. It's never 1 and 2 and 3 and it's. So the eighth notes are like the first and third note of a eighth note triplet, and the whole song's played like that. So on the intro riff, it's quite simple actually conceptually, in that they're just kind of spelling out a G chord. They go from root to third to fifth to sixth to root, octave higher, back to the sixth. So it's on a G chord. Just slide into that the third. Do the same thing on a D chord. Right? Then some just real rock and roll root in the fifth, and a typical, 50s rock and roll move. That's what they intended, but John doesn't play that last E. On the first time that he plays the riff, he always kind of misses the E and he plays an open D. His last thing is before he starts over. Second time he gets it right. So with Ringo, the intro sounds like this. 2, 3. do it very slow for you now. Close up. And then you're into the verse. Now for the verse chords, you'll need an A voiced like this. Then you need a D over an A. Like that. You're going to need an F sharp minor. A B minor. A G7. An E chord. And an E7. Now John has this great way of just kind of continually up and down, strumming up and down, but he accents in a great way. It's difficult to do exactly John's way, but the rhythm that he accents is like this. It's like, so it's like 1, 2. You always hammer on to the D over A. And then just 1, 2, 3 on the fourth measure. And he's singing and playing, so he pretty much accents what he's singing. Then on the F sharp minor, just straight eighth notes. They're swing eighths, straight swing eighth notes, I should say, on the F sharp minor. To the B minor, G7, B minor, G7, E to E7. So in tempo, it would be like this. 1, 2. And that's pretty much what he plays on every single verse. But he plays loosely because he's singing and playing live. So that's precisely what he played. But feel free to just, kind of dig into it and play it how you feel it. Now on the chorus, he plays, you'll need these chords. You'll need a straight G like this. To a Beatle D. And an A. And John's just playing his swing eighths, like. And then he's going to play the second part of the intro riff. But this time he gets the E. And back to the G, D, quick stop on A. So in time, a chorus sounds like this. 1, 2, 3. And that's what he plays on the choruses. Now the only time he variates his rhythm playing is when George is doing the solo. So he plays the first 4 measures of when George is playing the solo, just like a verse, just regular. Then when he gets to the F sharp minor, he hammers onto it, a quick hammer on it. Charts and tabs at MikePachelli.com will make it a lot clearer than I could do it. And then on the ending, you play the same riff that they did on the beginning. And again, on the first time, John hits that D. So John goes. Before the second time. Then he plays his A chord. And he gets kind of like an A7 and then suspends the A. He goes like. So you play your A chord, let your pinky go E to G, and then, again, charts and tabs at MikePachelli.com make it perfectly clear, but that's all the parts John plays on Dig a Pony. George Harrison is playing his Rosewood Telly on Dig a Pony through a twin reverb, and I've got my 62 going through that same Fender Deluxe reverb that I was using before. So when the song starts, John and George play the same basic opening riff, and George doesn't make that little mistake that John plays. So it sounds like this, middle position of the Telly, like Ringo. And then George is off to the races. Now, he does play some rhythm guitar, but whenever he plays just the straight chords, you barely hear him. I mean, he plays very lightly and stays out of John's way. So I'm just going to show you all the cool little licks that he plays. So going into the F sharp minor, he plays into the B minor, then the first little double stop on the G7, 1. Like how he gets the B minor thing, the root and the fifth of B minor. And on this E, he plays such a great line. He plays now that's a line that's been used in so many songs, and most people would play. But on that A, instead of making it an A, I should say, over E, he just makes like a E suspended. So, right? 1. That's so sweet. Second verse, he's up there, and then he plays into the B minor. Now the next G7 lick is like this. Doesn't play on the B minor, G7. Then played very loosely, he goes, let's see. Now into the chorus, it's almost like a Badfinger line. You'd swear it was Badfinger because the line is. So, you know, that's the one time where their Beatles are playing kind of straight. George is playing kind of straight eighths on that one. Mostly it's the swing eighths, but it's kind of closer to straight on the chorus. And then the second part of the intro riff, and then the riff. Just hits an A, holds it. Let's see, verse 3. Da, ba, da, da. He just plays a little suspension. Same line pretty much into the B minor. And on this G7, let's see, the line is 1. And then on this E, he plays the same lick. This is verse 3 that he played on verse 1. George knew that was a good one. Looking at page 3 of my chart. Now we're to verse 4. So he does a couple clicks right before the F sharp minor. Click, click. Yeah. On this G7, he plays. And then on this E, he goes like this. He goes, and the same line on the chorus. Again, charts and tabs at MikePachelli.com if you want to see those exact. Then he switches to his neck pickup. Thank you. And the solo is like this. So the first part, you're bending with your first finger. So you're on the, what is that, the 9th fret of the G string. Bend it up to 11 of the D. 10 of the B string. See those? And then the same kind of move on the B and G string. Okay, so you got. And then a big bend on the 12th fret of the second string, and get your pinky to this, get this F sharp. Right? And then some minor third bends from 10 to 12 on the B string. All right, so you got to really bend. So you want to bend from the B to the D. Want that sound. Keep it up there and release it. Right? And then a little on the 12th of the G string. To 10. Same thing, bend all the way up, a minor third. Time you get the 12th fret. And then cool little E line double stops. Let's see this. Like that. So the whole solo, nice and slow for you, would sound like this. Then after the solo would be like verse 5, and he's playing very softly the chords, very softly. And I think he momentarily forgets this little line that he played every time in the F sharp minor, because this time he goes up to C sharp, he goes, and then bends this. So it's like it catches up and back to the normal into the B minor. Now on the G7, he's going to change his picking pattern a little bit, and the way he plays it, it's like 1. So there's a little extra instead of it's. And then he switches back to his middle pickup, and he plays this line, which is, again, he alters the picking pattern of this riff. He plays like this. He goes. So that one sounds like 1. That. Then a verse 6, just a little to the F sharp minor, doesn't play. And this time on this little line into B minor, he goes with the open G. On the G7, the next line is G7 to the E, and then this last little E line is pretty cool because he goes, and he plays. You hear that open B string. Right? And then again, the kind of bad finger line. And Ringo kicks into the very ending, which is exact like the intro riff, and George plays. And he ends with just an open 5th string. Charts and tabs at MikePachelli.com will show you all those beautiful fills exactly like George played it. Well, I put it together in a sound alike so you can hear how it sounds, and it's featuring Ramon Ba on drums. So have a look at this.
Celebrate anything you want.
the wind blows, well, you can indicate everything you see. Yes, you can indicate anything you see. Oh, now Lord, Lord, well, you can syndicate any boat you row. Yeah, you can syndicate any boat you row. I told you so. All I want is you. Everything has got to be just like you want it to. Because well, there you have it. And I suggest you download the chart and tabs at MikePachelli.com, learn both parts, play along with my sound alike, and you'll get it just like the Beatles. And if you'd like to drop me a line, do so at MikePachelli.com, and that's where the chart and tabs for all my video lessons are available for you to download. And I appreciate your consideration in supporting my work that way. So have fun playing this great old song, and until next time, I'm Mike Pachelli. Thanks for hanging out with me.